There have been just 3 news articles uploaded to Minecraft.net over the last 10 days. 2 were about the marketplace, but 1 was about the Stronghold and the end portal in particular. This seems like an interesting hint to make right now, because people have been looking all over for what 1.22 might be, and so why would they mention this line in particular? While we're here, I can finally address the comments I've been making about building. They've been quite controversial, and also, now that we have the last feature from the Caves and Cliffs update, the bundle is coming soon to Bedrock, that means that there is just one more feature that Minecraft has promised in recent history that still haven't made it to the game. Let's talk about how that might be coming in 1.22. So 1.22 is the next major Minecraft update. It's likely coming out in 2025, and the theme of it is known by Mojang but not by us, and that is why when we see a Minecraft article like this one, a lot of people immediately start speculating, because why would they be talking about the Stronghold now? Why would they start talking about all of the various things about it, and why would they specifically say this? Strongholds were added in Minecraft beta version 1.8, the adventure update, in September 2011, but it wasn't until version 1.0 was released in November of that year that Strongholds got their end portal rooms added. Before that, players had to be content with just the libraries, storerooms, and jail cells, even specifically giving you advice like this: take a moment to explore the rest of the Stronghold and enjoy what players in autumn of 2011 experienced. That is a really interesting hint for Mojang to drop by itself, to specifically reference the age of the Stronghold, the fact that it was in 2011 that it came out, and then in 2011 that it received its last update. Newer features have been added to the game and then deemed old enough to have an entire update, like the village or the swamp, and yet you can see that the Stronghold has remained how it was ever since. I think if you take this and then you take the fact that Mojang has made 2 April Fool's jokes now that are in new dimensions, one of which was of course an entirely new thing, but one of which was very similar to the end, and a lot of people see that Mojang are desperate to make an end update, and maybe they've just been building up for it. However, just to put my cards on the table, I am a natural skeptic or contrarian, someone who hears something and wonders why it's not true as opposed to why it is true, and so I have to say that even though Mojang clearly have been working in the gist of an end update for a while, even though they've dropped the hint that they won't work on a new dimension until they make an end update, and even though there is a huge uproar in the community, and even all these hints they keep dropping, I don't think that guarantees that 1.22 is an end update. The reason I say that is because this article is written by a staff writer at Mojang. This isn't written by someone who is actively working on coding the next update or the ideas for the next update right now. It is written by someone who is writing about every single structure. The fact that they chose to write about the Stronghold might just be because it is such an old structure, and so that is them noticing something the same way that any of us could. They're like, oh wow, isn't it interesting that the structure is basically the same since 2011, and they're trying to spin it into something interesting to say, as opposed to saying, hey, just so you know, here's some massive news that I've heard under the table. And why is it that this is the only news post we've had besides marketplace promotions? Well, I think that if Mojang are taking some holiday time off, especially in the Java team, then it means that, well, obviously the only things going out are the things that need to for business reasons. They need to tell you about their summer sale, they need to tell you about things you can buy in it, and they need to do this monthly article, which was probably pre-written before any of this came out. And so I think that Mojang is probably considering an end update. I would be shocked if in the next 3 or 4 updates it's not planned. I would also be shocked if there wasn't like a new dimension planned in there somewhere. But I also think that at the same time, we have no guarantee that it's going to be 1.22, and I think even more this article, if it was true, would fracture that belief even more, because what would an end update mean? An update to the end and realistically the end island? Or do you think that actually, given the last 3 updates have done something to an underground structure, we had the ancient city, then the trail ruins, and then the trail chambers, really, if anything, the current trajectory at Mojang, combined with this article, makes it look like there's going to be a Stronghold update. And this is something interesting that I think is at least worth discussing. As much as there is huge demand, thousands of people saying that they want an end update, actually working out what they want in it is a harder question for Mojang to drill down on, and I think that a Stronghold update could be worthwhile, because think about it, right now we have all these super hard structures in the game, and then we've got the actual end of the game, the actual place to go and fight, and the last thing standing between you with all your eyes offender and the final end boss is a single silverfish spawner. This is the most pathetic thing ever, but it is what the current Stronghold looks like, and so really, I think that a Stronghold update is more likely than an end update, if anything, but I also think the if anything is the key word there. It's a pretty weak hint for now, and we're going to have to wait at least another month or 2 before we start seeing any real direction in 1.22, and in the meantime, we have to look out for things like the bundle, which, by the way, I want to mention, the bundle is finally coming to the game, and so there's obviously every single feature from the Caves and Cliffs announcement trailer has come, but there's one other feature that Mojang dropped onto us, but they didn't actually reveal, and that is, of course, the fletching table, which was promised functionality in the next update. This is when the smithing table got its function. By the way, that's why I think it's so silly that people say, the fletching table already has a function, you're being ridiculous. No, Mojang said that they would give functionality to the smithing table and the fletching table. They gave it to the smithing table, but not to the fletching table. If you think that the only use for an item is to be used with villagers, then you must never use your smithing table to go up to netherite, and you must think it's really normal that all of these other items have no use, except no, every single workstation also has a use besides the fletching table, and I saw this really cool concept that went fairly viral from PowerPork this week that showed how the fletching table could be used. So this is the fletching table UI that you could have, and it's as simple as you craft the arrows, but you can also add something to them at the same time. So if you add all of these on there and then a potion, you could craft tipped arrows without having to make a lingering potion on Java. On Bedrock you can already do that quite easily, but you could also put glowstone in there to make spectral arrows. This would be great because you can craft those on Java right now technically, but wouldn't it be great if you'd be able to craft it on Bedrock? But also you could use this system to make all sorts of fun new arrows. So easier access to tipped arrows, easier access to spectral arrows, but what about easier access to new types of arrows such as redstone arrows, or there's a whole bunch of different varieties of them. I just really enjoy the idea of using a fletching table to make something which can tie into a new bow update. But this is, I guess, kind of the problem with Minecraft updates. Before they even come out, there's a whole list of features that the community actually want from them, and working out what's put in them must be hard for Mojang, especially if they pick a very big theme, and maybe that's why before, 1.21 was a huge theme, I'd argue, the Trial Chambers, but before that, it was kind of hard for Mojang to pick a specific theme because there were so many quality of life things that they had to update, and so maybe one of the things they could include in such a quality of life update would be the gamma setting, because Blue Skull 58 says, where's the gamma setting? Bedrock looks so ugly compared to the 4J Studios version, which of course had a gamma slider. Fun fact, I only learned this week, but Minecraft Bedrock does have a gamma slider. It's called brightness, and it only exists when using deferred graphics. It looks like this, and it's basically, it calls itself brightness, which is very weird, but if you look and turn it all the way to the max, it's very, very over-gammaed in the way that you would expect, and if you turn it all the way down, you can see next to nothing, just like you could on the old console editions. It's honestly a very niche slider that I feel like is only there to kind of trip people up more than anything, but there is technically gamma, and if you're if you missed the 4J Studios version, you might also be interested to learn that I did some testing yesterday. I was just on my Switch casually playing some Super Monkey Ball, and I had the thought, wait, what if I were to go into Minecraft and see if they've updated the Super Mario Mashup Pack to have 1.21 textures? We checked recently, and about half of 4J's packs got the 1.20 update, but so far none of them have the 1.21 update, and you might be wondering, what's the deal with that? It looks like they're going to be doing so maybe in the future. We've seen no official confirmation on a date, but it looks like they are going to do so, but not right now. They've moved from doing it immediately after an update to a little bit delayed. Speaking of delayed, you might be wondering about 4J Studios' new project. Here's the new video about it they just dropped. Whoa, I still don't really know what the game is going to be behind this. In fact, I don't think anyone does. We're expecting a reveal at some point, but right now, we're just getting all these fun clips of the engine where 4J have been saying that they're trying to show and demonstrate the power and versatility of their new Elements engine, and they're going to be posting more clips exclusively on Discord over the coming weeks. So we don't know about the game, we don't know about the genre or the gameplay, but they are starting to drop more and more hints than just the vague idea, which is pretty fun to hear about, and I look forward to learning anything more about that. You might think that this is like a hard to understand vague trailer, but wait until you see this trailer that Mojang made for the newest collab they did.
Man, that's tough. Thanks for sharing. But I think we got something to cheer you up. It's the latest, greatest, most fantastical crochet sensation of all time. I'm, of course, talking about the Woobles, inspired by the video game Minecraft.
This goes on for a full other minute. It's like an old person TV show to advertise how you can crochet Minecraft. Admittedly, that means they know their audience, but I think it's very interesting, the difference in how these ads are going. Minecraft is a mature game, and so they're at the point where they can sell $130 bundles of yarn in large quantities, whereas 4J is still trying to get the interest out there in the overall game itself. It's kind of fun. It's like this upstart versus incumbent thing all over again. Speaking of incumbent, I want to quickly move back into the idea of the gamma setting that the brand new graphics options that Minecraft are bringing out have, because Diamond Depth YT says, why did these deferred graphics look better when they released last year? This looks awful now. Before, it felt very vanilla friendly, and to be fair, some of this is down to the exact tweaking that the person did themselves. Poggy's Lit is very, very talented, but this was done within a few hours, so it's a new Minecraft feature that's there for optimization, and it means that the perfect balance of all the settings isn't right, but that is the goal. It's for Mojang to give every creator the ability to make their own packs their own way, and to make them work perfectly the ways they want to. I don't think that right now we're going to see the perfect versions, but it's a good way to show the technology and to show how it could look. But I do agree, the latest settings that they've brought out need a lot of tweaking, because the water just always seems green, and it gets horrifically dark, and you can see reflections through objects that it shouldn't quite make sense to. There are lots and lots and lots of flaws of it, but that is the idea of the preview and the beta, is this is just an early testing version, and if it's an early bad testing version, then that's something useful to see too. Speaking of useful to see, I'd like to respond to a comment that I've had a few of this week, and it's one that kind of stems from a big debate I got into on Twitter recently, but it comes down to Phony Lizard saying, I gotta say, I don't like the way that IBX Toycat talks about building in Minecraft. He refers to people using gradients as weird and thinks it's strange they use so many different blocks. I've seen him refer to different decorations as strange in past videos, but I don't like it. Using advanced techniques in builds isn't bad, and neither is making use of all the options you have in Minecraft to build. It just feels like he's dissing people for building in a way that's unfamiliar to him. So here is the deal. Part of this is true. I probably have an unfair bias against overly complicated builds, or the idea of using stone buttons to be pebbles on beach, because I don't see these weird decorations as decorations. I see them as stone buttons on beaches and stuff like that, and I think that this is something that is always going to be a difference between someone who builds a lot in Minecraft, who's seen thousands of builds, and is always trying to improve and perfect their craft. You'll notice the 5% difference that you'll have if you use 3 blocks to make a gradient rather than 1 block, and you'll start to do that naturally, and then you'll learn the next tip and the next tip, and this is something that's really cool for the specific community that use it. However, I always want to be clear in my videos that I enjoy looking at these builds sometimes, but sometimes you go over the top at appealing to other Minecraft builders rather than making an interesting build that you would have enjoyed making yourself. Indeed, to quote this comment from Kayla2204, you don't need to be a good builder to enjoy building. I think some people are too hard on themselves, but I also think some people are way too hard on each other. There are a lot of people who go deep down the building rabbit hole, and I don't doubt that that's a fun way to enjoy building yourself and improving your skills, but I also think that there needs to be a counterbalance on YouTube where these things are so popular, with someone who says that, yeah, I do enjoy gradients sometimes, I enjoy a lot of really beautiful builds that I've seen, but at the same time, that's not the only thing that makes something impressive. There are lots of other ways to make an impressive build besides starting and retrying the same thing 500 times till you get it exactly right, and that is why I make the comments in the videos that I do. I know it's going to rub some people the wrong way, but I think that's just a necessary part of that on YouTube. You can minimize it all you like, but literally you can say something like, I like the taste of water, it is a pretty good beverage that I will die without, and someone's going to be like, wow, what do you mean you'll die without water? I've been drinking soda only for 30 years. Are you calling me unhealthy? I can't believe you do that, you ableist monster. You know, like, people are going to be mad with you no matter what you say, and so at some point you've just got to lay what you think out there, and I understand that some people will see that as a criticism, but I assure you that it's not some deep dive into what I don't like about you. It's instead me trying to lift up people who actually believe in the opposite, and hopefully you agree with that, but if you don't, it's okay. You can leave your angry comment down below. Maybe I do secretly hate everyone who builds in Minecraft, but what else I don't hate, a perfect transition into people who can't build in Minecraft, something I really do believe in sharing on this channel, is something that relates to the Toycat Let's Play world, because you might have heard that it's in the Minecraft sale. You know, remember that thing from earlier? They've got 3 things, and one of them is about the sale. That sale includes the Toycat Let's Play world, which I must have signed it up for at some point. I don't actually remember doing it, but what I also don't remember doing is the Ultra Flat Survival. I tried to lower the price in May, but the price increase only went through in July, and so accidentally that is included in the sale too. You can get Ultra Flat Survival for 490 Minecoins, but here's the interesting psychology of the sale of it, right? The Toycat Let's Play world is officially on sale in-game. You know, you see that minus 33%, whereas the Ultra Flat Survival is almost the same price, but it's just the normal price if you didn't know that it was on sale. And so if we look at a normal day for sales for the maps, you can see the Let's Play world has sold 2 copies, Ultra Flat sold 3, and 1 for Survival Hexed and Survival Scorched. But if we look at a day during the sale, you can see that the Let's Play world sales went up to 45, and although these are small samples, so it's nothing to be precise, this tells us something really interesting about human psychology, and that is that a cheap price is nice. Everyone loves to see a cheaper price than otherwise, but what people really love is seeing the old price and seeing, no, cheap price just for you, and that has led to a massive increase in the number of sales for the Let's Play world, presumably for the next couple of weeks, but a much smaller increase in sales for Ultra Flat Survival. I wonder partially if that would change if I mention it here. That's why I want to bring it up, but also I think it's an interesting thing to note if you're ever out there and are curious about sales. A lot of sales are deliberately deliberately put there because they know that even if the price is the same, even if we said like, oh, it's 660 Minecoins, but it used to be 1,000, you'd be like, whoa, that's a really good deal, because your sense of deal can only come from what they tell you the old price used to be. Something useful to know for any sale anywhere in the world, but maybe usefully for Minecraft. Am I meant to share that? I hope sure, but I think one of the more interesting things to say about this is that the Longboy is obviously still on sale, and if you ever read the website and it says it costs $29.99, just know it actually used to cost $299.99, but it's down 90% right now. Get yours now. The Longboy will only be on sale for another couple of weeks. That is real. They have to manufacture them all to order. It is just 16 days to go. Get your hands on one while they still last, but also I hope that you will enjoy this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what 1.22 will actually be. Do you think I'm right about strongholds seeming more likely than the end, or do you think that neither of them are likely, or do you think it's both going to be one part of the same big update where they really focus on the end of the game? I feel like the logical the logical update to actually make a full revamp of the end, if you're going to change the end fight, would be 2.0. But what do you think? I want to hear about it, or I want to read about it at the very least, and I look forward to seeing some of those comments and maybe responding to them in next week's Q&A. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm going to enjoy my birthday now, so have a great one. Goodbye. I'm 29, by the way. I didn't mention that anywhere. See ya.